Hello and welcome back to the Curious Life Pop Therapy Edition. You will have just heard my big intro about this amazing guest, so you know all about what she's doing. But Kate, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm thrilled to have you here.
Yana, it is a pleasure. And do people tell you all the time you just have like the coolest name ever?
You know what? I was on the phone yesterday to the phone company, and it was a woman in India in a call center, and she was like,
Hmm.
Firestone, oh my goodness, you could be a mythological princess. You need to tell your children that's what your name is.
Firestone is a sick last name.
Do you know where I really feel like I found my identity? It is in LA. There are huge Firestone signs everywhere. I think the
Because,
tires must still
yep,
be in use over
yep.
there.
Well, I've gotten a lot of tires from your family, so thank you.
Nice. Oh, you're very welcome. Like, I'll hook you up with a deal next time.
Okay, I'll let you know. But thank you so much for having me. Truly, it's like an honor that you asked me. And we were just talking about this before we hit record, but you and I both just can't get enough of Bravo and BravoCon. So I'm really excited to keep talking
I
about it.
know, same. And so, for people listening, we met at a creator event at BravoCon, and like that was a real highlight for me, getting to meet people like you and people that I've like,
Hmm.
been observing from afar, or like, had a pen pal kind of relationship with some of these people. And to connect was like incredible.
Well, it was like it was kind of a surreal experience because you spend all day at BravoCon and everywhere you turn there is a Bravo celebrity of sorts, and then we go to this bar and I'm like still getting starstruck because I'm like,
Yes.
oh, I know you from online, I know you from online. And what was kind of my favorite were there were people there that they don't really show their faces much, and they're just like really
Yes.
Instagram accounts, and they're like, oh, I'm so and so from this account. And that was even, I was like, oh my God, I love following your account. Like that has been like my
Yes.
favorite part.
So true. And in fact, I think I was so kind of like sensory overwhelmed by the time we got to Saturday night
Hmm.
that it was like, oh my God, like there was nothing left in the tank, and it was pissing down with rain. And I was walking through the rain and I saw this very familiar face, and I'm like, oh my God, it's Bravo by Gaze. And I just went and introduced myself. I've like got my phone. I'm through the dark and the rain trying to find my way to this bar, to go and meet everyone. And I was like, hi, I actually know you from online. Are you going to the creator event? He's like, yes. And
He's so
then
nice. I met him
so
like the first night we
nice.
were there, and it's so funny because he starts off as, oh my God, that's Bravo by Gaze. And then by the end of the weekend, I'm like, hey, Larry, what's up, Larry? I'll see you later, Larry. Like,
Yes,
it's like you are like
totally.
become friends. Every creator that I've talked to, and I know this probably just sounds like such an eye rolly, pandery thing, but it's true. Like, our favorite part was meeting each other. At the end of
Totally.
the day, we are all kind of coworkers in a sense. And
Yeah.
like, it really, like, I will find myself watching other people's videos all the time. So it was
Yeah.
really cool to like get to meet those people in real life. I was definitely fangirling over a couple people for sure.
100%. 100%. And you know what? You've nailed it, because so much of what we do here is in complete isolation.
Yeah.
You know, I'm talking to you, but I'm still like here in a room on my own.
Hmm.
I've got an editor that I work with, like an audio engineer editor, but that's my team. There's no,
Hmm.
like, I can't turn to my colleague and be like, hey, what did you think of this interview? Or what should we do about this? Or, and so to be in a room with kind of all of our peers and to be like, oh my God, we all do these things and we're all super fans at the heart of it too. So we're so passionate about this kind of genre, and to just get together like that. I mean, when do we ever get an experience like
Right.
that?
It truly
Yeah.
was a work conference. Like my friend told me
Yeah.
that as a joke. She's like, I feel like you're going to a work conference. I'm like, I kind of did go to a work conference because I don't know if you felt this way, Yana, but like by the end of the day, I had this vision that I was going to do BravoCon by day and Vegas by night. And I was going to go out and I was going to be drunk and at the slots. And by the time like 10 p.m. rolled around, I was like, I got to go. I got to go to my room.
Totally.
And I was like, because I live in LA, so I've gone to Vegas a lot. Like we can drive there from here, right? And I
Yeah.
love to party. So I was almost like feeling guilty, like it's 10 o'clock and I'm in my room in Vegas. Like, who have I become? But you
Yes.
truly are just so tired by the time, and you
Totally.
want to be like energized for the next day because
Yeah.
there's a lot to do.
100%. And I think the first day I didn't know what to expect. So I was just like trying to hit everything, go everywhere,
This
take
was
it
your
all in.
first BravoCon?
First
It was
BravoCon.
mine as well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And I just thought, oh my God, this is so insane. Like, how am I going to do this for a second day and then a third day? So I was the same as you. I'm like, who am I? Like, this is the girl that used to like be up for 5 days straight. Like, where is she gone? I'm away from my family and I'm going to bed.
Truly. I've talked about this a lot, and if any of your listeners have ever followed me, they know that I was massively hungover the first day of BravoCon
Mm-hmm.
because that Thursday night, it was just exciting. I was meeting people. BravoCon hadn't started yet, and I also didn't know what to expect, right?
Yeah.
So, and I drank, whatever. You're in Vegas, and
Yeah.
I got pretty drunk and was pretty hungover the next day. But I was like, it's not a big deal. I don't feel great, but I can still go to BravoCon. It's not a big deal. So I get to BravoCon and I'm really not feeling well, but I'm like, I'll just walk around. I'll sit in some panels. Like I can just blend in. I was so overwhelmed. I'm like in that Bravo Bazaar, and it was one of those hangovers where I was also having, because you have a therapy background, I was
Mm-hmm.
having like the worst anxiety of my
Oh
entire life.
no.
And I was like almost like starting to like go in. I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but like I was just so overwhelmed. There was so
Yeah.
much happening, Bravo celebrities everywhere. And then like I started to get recognized, which was so amazing. And truly like I couldn't believe it, but it was like, oh, I can't just like stand here in my sunglasses and be like a miserable freak right now.
Yeah.
Like I have to be on my game. So I was maybe at BravoCon for 1 hour on that Friday. I went back
Insane.
and slept. It was my biggest regret, but I'm also glad that I had fun on Thursday night with like some other
Yeah.
creators and stuff. But yeah, it was unexpectedly crazy that Friday. I
Yes.
also had no idea what I was walking into, and it really just kind of hits you like a truck, which is what's
Totally.
like the best part about BravoCon is Bravo really does the damn thing. Like I
Yes.
understand why it's only once every 2 years because they really do it.
Totally. Totally. They thought of everything. It was so like honestly the only kind of way to describe it is sensory overload
Yep. Yep.
completely. And I'm someone who's prone to anxiety too, and I was like, if I had been really hungover, I think I really would have struggled as well, because it's just people everywhere. It's all of the people that you have this parasocial kind of relationship with,
Mm-hmm.
from the stars of all the shows to other creators. Like I remember meeting Chef Stew on the first day, and
Oh yeah.
and Zach, and like all of these cool people that I'm like, oh my God, I love you guys. And having to be on, and it's like truly you're networking and getting to know people, and to there's no blending in that situation. So I think you did the right thing by disappearing and coming back when
Yeah,
you're
I
a
was
little bit
like,
more
I was like in the
fresh.
middle of talking to someone, and I was like, I'm so sorry, I have to go to the bathroom, and I just left.
Oh no.
I
Oh my
literally just like walked
God.
back to the hotel. I was like, I need a nap. It was fine. It was dramatic of me, but sometimes you know
No.
what your body needs, and that's exactly what it
Yeah.
was. It's sensory overload, and I spoke to Ryan Bailey about this, and he put it in a good way of like we were talking about how there were different people that had different purposes there, right? Like the Bravo
Yeah.
celebrities, they're doing their Bravo thing. They have crazy schedules every day. Like it is truly work for them. And then there's
Yeah.
people that are there as press, right? It's work for them. There's people that are there's creators where it's not technically work for us, but we're making it into a
Yeah.
networking opportunity. And you can tell who all those people are. And then you can tell who the people are that are just Bravo fans and that want to have fun because Yana, there was a bar everywhere at
I
BravoCon.
know.
You couldn't walk 10 steps without passing a bar. And by the time 3 p.m. would hit, you could see everyone was like fucked up,
Totally.
drunk, and just having the
Yes.
time of their lives. And I was like, those are the Bravo fans I know and love. Like, that is why
Totally.
Bravo is the best.
Yeah.
They're not networking, they're just here to
Yeah.
have fun. And I
Totally.
love that for them.
Totally. And if I hadn't been there in sort of this capacity a little bit, that would have been me for sure.
100%.
Now,
100%.
can we talk about why you were so hungover? Because if people haven't already watched your interview with Ryan Bailey, which they absolutely, guys, it's a two-parter. Go and watch it on YouTube. It's incredible. And you'd go into this in detail. But for anyone that hasn't, you weren't just being a messy Vegas party girl. Like you were somewhere seriously amazing on Thursday night.
When you have an open bar around fellow Bravo celebrities and Bravo creators, you're gonna take advantage of that open bar. So yeah, they did something really cool for the creators. So there was two different events I went to on Thursday night. One was through Meta, mostly Threads, which I don't know if you've noticed this, like on your side of town, aka Australia, that like they're really trying to push out Threads. Do you use Threads?
Not really. Occasionally my Instagram just automatically posts there, and that's about the extent of it.
Well, I've noticed like they're really like there's a lot of Threads events out here and in New York. So I went to this Threads thing in Vegas, and it was just crazy because I look, as the theme of this episode will probably be, we didn't know what to expect anywhere we went,
Yeah.
right? So I didn't know what to expect, and I walk in, and I mean it was like, talk about sensory overload, like a punch in the face of every Bravo creator I've ever met, like or I've ever seen online are right there in front of me. And then on top of that, it's like Heather Gay, Melissa Gorga, Sierra Miller, Joe Gorga, Sutton, Gertie. There's like all these Bravo people there at this like little sports bar inside Mandalay Bay. So I'm like, how the fuck? Like, how is this happening? So I have said in my interview with Ryan on my show, it's called The Reality of Reality, that I do think an open bar in Vegas should be illegal because I'm going to take too much advantage of it. Because for anybody that hasn't been to Vegas, drinks are so expensive.
So
like
expensive.
a water is $12. It's psychotic. So I was like, oh, well, you know, free drink, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I wanted to drink the nerves away a little bit, obviously. Then right from there, that was from 4 to 6. Then from 6 to 8, there was like a Bravo hosted creators drinks, where then I'm seeing even more Bravo creators. It's another open bar, and they have different Bravo celebrities there. There's Kyle Cook, Tom Schwartz, like 3 of the Southern Hospitality guys. Like it just, there was so many people. Carl Radke. It was just so overwhelming that to me, I'm like, oh, this is going to be the whole weekend. We're going to be getting drunk every night with Bravo celebrities. That's why I don't regret my Friday hangover, because that was the only night I really did that. It wasn't as, I think if you were a bit more of a bigger like online personality, you got invited to some of the more intimate things or the drinks in the hotel and stuff like that. But that was really the only night that I was, what do they say, rubbing elbows with the Bravo celebrities? Rubbing shoulders. Sure. So yeah, I had a couple of drinks, but really it wasn't that many drinks. It just, I think it just, the excitement, everything hit me. You know
adrenaline.
How it goes. What did you do that night? Did you arrive on Thursday?
I arrived on Thursday, but there was an Australian meetup. And
no way.
Yeah, so I was there. I wasn't going to go. Like I flew in, as I was telling you before we started recording, I was coming off a massive week in LA, and I had really, what we would say, tied one over. Like had that massive week in LA. And then I was like, oh my God, now I have to like get my head in the game. Like this is BravoCon. And I got to the hotel and I rang my partner. I'm like, I think I'm just gonna, like, I know I want to hit the ground running tomorrow. Because you have to go to that event. And I'm so glad I did, because there was some really great people I met there, and you know, a couple of people from radio and from NBC Universal and stuff like that. Like
that's
Australian
awesome.
connections. So it was good. I was glad that I went, but then I was still pretty well behaved, and I think I was, you know, in bed. Well, I was in my room by like 10 o'clock, but I couldn't sleep for so long because I was like so anxious about, oh my God, I've got to set my alarm for super early, and I'm going to like get up really early and figure out how to get there.
Exactly.
And like,
I don't think anybody actually got a real night's sleep, because the anxiety every night of just like never knowing what tomorrow was going to bring. And you want to, it's kind of like a music festival where it's like there's a lineup and everything's at a certain time and you want to make it to everything.
Totally.
And yeah, but I think that's kind of the magic, right? You never know what the next day is going to bring.
But I also think along with that anxiety comes this terrible FOMO. Like you're looking at everyone's content. You're like, oh my God, where are they? What are they doing? Where should I be? What should I, you know, like, but also the deep feeling of like, I just want to be in my bed. I wish no one was doing anything so we could all just go to bed and like not be feeling like I should be somewhere. And I think that settled a little bit after the first day. Like I took it all in and I was like, oh, okay. Because Ryan had been saying to me, this is a marathon. You just have to accept that you're not going to get to everything. You just, have to kind of like just take it, like go where the feeling takes you on the day. And I thought that was really good advice because I was sort of
Mm-hmm.
like, printing out like the whole schedule and like this panel and this and that meet and greet and this and that, and how am I going to get everywhere? And should I be paying for all these extra things? And like, what do I do? And then after the first day, I was like, oh, okay. So this is how it rolls. And actually the best place to be was the Bravo Bazaar. That's where I had the best interactions with people.
The Bravo Bazaar was like where I remember I was like the first day, hungover. I was like,
Yeah.
I'll just go for a walk through here. I mean, everywhere you turn, there's
Yeah.
Craig, there's, Kyle. Like it's just everyone was
Yeah.
everywhere. So like the Bravo Bazaar was cool too. I didn't really realize what it was. It is just that. It's a bazaar and it's a bunch of stands of any Bravo celebrity that has a brand can sell their brand's stuff there. Like,
Yeah.
I think my favorite was, because it was shocking to me. Do you watch the new Real Housewives of New York reboot?
Yes.
So, you know how Erin like created mezcal and brought it to America, so
Yes.
she claims.
Yes.
I did try her mezcal. They were giving away free
So
shots of
did
it.
I. Abe the Babe gave it to me.
See, I didn't get it from Abe or Erin, but I got it from someone there. I loved it.
Oh, really?
Did you not like
what?
it?
I didn't know what I was really, I mean, I think it was like 11 a.m. And I was
That's
like, oh my
bold.
God, it's Abe the Babe. Hi. And I'm like chatting to him a little bit. And he gave it to me and I didn't know what to expect. I thought it was just going to be like tequila, but it was so smoky.
Oh, so had you never really had it straight like that before?
No, never.
Okay, well, I will tell you, I do like mezcal a lot. It was pretty smooth in my opinion, but to me, mezcal is almost more similar to whiskey than it is to
Yes.
tequila because it is so
Yes.
smoky. And I can understand for you
I was
to
like,
take a shot of
what?
that being like, what the hell is this?
Seriously, I was not expecting that, and I was like, and it's 11 a.m. and like, what is Abe the Babe giving me? This is crazy,
That is
but
so funny.
yeah, I mean, I would like to probably have it with a bit of ice, maybe not a
Yeah,
shot.
taking shots of it out of like a little plastic cup was
Yeah,
crazy. But I was like, sure, sign me up. Let me try it.
totally.
But yeah, the bazaar was really cool. So did you do, because one thing I didn't do, I had a VIP wristband. So it was like
Nice.
interesting to see. I didn't really know what that was going to get me, but we had like access to this like VIP area, which was just like a lounge where every now and then Bravo celebrities were like walking in and out. But something that was interesting of the VIP lounge is there were two step and repeats, like two places to take photos. And there were always lines at those step and repeats, even if there was no one on the carpet.
Mm.
So as the weekend went on, I realized you never know who they're going to throw on that step and repeat. Everyone's just waiting in line for whoever shows up,
Wow.
right? So like,
Yeah.
for example, like I unfortunately don't watch Married to Medicine, right? So I could wait in line and that step and repeat, and it could be someone from Married to Medicine and I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
So, but that was something that I thought was cool, that they were just like shuffling Bravo celebrities in and out of the VIP. And I heard that was also what they did at Bravo Palooza. Did you do a
Yes.
Bravo Palooza?
I did one, and it's so funny that you just said what you said because I also don't watch Married to Medicine. And the first Bravolebs that came in were two girls from Married to Medicine. I was like, oh, no. But then it was Madison and Vanita. It was Sheree Whitfield.
Oh,
It was
great.
Camille Grammer, Gina Kirschenheiter, Shamia Morton. So it actually was, I mean, I got pictures with everybody.
What day did you do yours?
Good question. Maybe Saturday afternoon?
I heard, so it was, I've heard great things about the Bravo Bazaar. And like from what I heard, if you had a GA ticket, you should pay extra for a Bravo Bazaar because they do a good job at like bringing in the Bravo celebrities and you getting to do meet and greets and take photos and stuff. But I did have one friend go on Sunday, and something that I even noticed about on Sunday, because I did like this creator carpet interview thing, and
Yes.
it was amazing, but I could tell everyone was really tired.
Totally.
And I mean, I was really tired and I'm not a Bravo celebrity. So my friend that did the Bravo Bazaar on Sunday, I don't think he had as like great of an experience as friends that did it Friday and Saturday. Because Friday and
Yeah.
Saturday, I mean, it's still so exciting and upbeat. And
Yeah.
I would imagine like if I were a Bravo celebrity, if Sunday rolls around, I'd be like, I don't think I can meet anybody else. Like I
Totally.
don't want to do it.
Do
But
you know
so
what
just a
though?
pro tip.
I don't know if they get the option. Like they work those Bravolebs to the bone, and someone I know is on a show, which I was talking to you about before, and she was saying that basically, they're required to do still photography, promos, meet and greets, then panels and Bravo Paloozas and VIP booth or
Gosh.
room stuff. Plus, then there's network stuff. So just when they thought it was all over and it's like 10 o'clock at night, they're then invited to a dinner that
Hmm.
starts at like 11 p.m. and then
Which
an
that's
after
crazy.
party.
Well, and
So,
they're going to like the Watch What Happens Live, which is at like
yep.
8 p.m.
Yes.
I felt the
Yes.
same way. Like I talked about this with Ryan as well about how like there really isn't even like time off. And then
Yeah.
they go back to their hotel and they like want to unwind and just have a drink at the hotel bar and there's fans there. And
Totally.
I heard the hotel that they were staying at, like you couldn't get in unless you had a hotel key card. But
Yeah.
fans knew where they were staying before BravoCon, and people were booking that hotel. So, like,
Yeah.
a lot of like the videos you saw of like Lindsay Hubbard talking to Sandoval and Victoria or Shep going on his rampage, it's like they did feel like they were in a private, safe space,
Yeah.
like for the first time of the day away from fans. And
Yeah.
obviously, you're never away from fans at BravoCon, but
No.
I gained such a level of respect for Bravo celebrities after BravoCon, realizing how they truly it is 24/7 for them. I
Totally.
mean, and they're out, like you said, so late, and they have to be up, the women especially, like so
Yeah.
early to get their hair and makeup done.
Five
They
and
are done
six.
up. Yeah,
Yep.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Do
It,
you
it
know if
really
they
is.
do they get paid to do BravoCon?
That I don't think they get paid. The person I know wasn't being paid, but they pay for their hair and makeup and their, flights and
That's
their
good.
room at the Four Seasons and probably all everything on room service, everything like that.
So I guess like if you were a Bravo celebrity, you are really only doing BravoCon to like promote yourself and stay
Yeah,
in like the good graces of Bravo.
totally. Totally.
Wow.
And I think, that's kind of the name of the game for so many of them. Like it can be a fleeting thing, but I wonder if there are also contractual obligations for people that are currently on shows. Like, the Southern Charm guys, like Craig was doing a lot.
He
Like
was,
he
yeah.
really was doing a lot and he had a lot of time for the fans. Like Ryan very kindly got me a little spot on one of his shoppable things and I got to like do a
I
little game
saw
with
that
Craig.
was cool.
So much fun.
Craig
But
was very handsome in person, I have to
very
admit. I
handsome.
have to
I
admit.
know. I know. I agree. And it's not just the tall factor. I swear. He's got the it factor,
Hmm.
and he's really charming. But there was a line of people all so keen just to get a photo. And he was like, okay, I'm just going to do one more. I like, hey guys, can I? And they were sort of, the team was moving him on. And he's like, wait, can you tell them I'll be back? What time am I going to be back? And I heard someone from his team saying, we're not going to tell them what time. Then they're just going to be like, and he's like, no, but I like they've been waiting. Like you could see he genuinely
Right.
cared about the people that were standing there. And throughout the whole interview he did with Ryan and then the bit he did with me, and like it was a long wait, and he
Yeah.
really respected everybody's time and wanted to give as much of himself as he could. And that was Sunday. And
Oof. Yeah, wow.
like he was rightly so probably exhausted, but then I saw he and Madison, I think they went straight to LA and they were
They
doing
were on my
press.
flight.
Oh, you're kidding.
So I didn't realize Madison was, but I'm walking on my flight and I saw Craig like sitting in
Oh
first
my
class and I was like,
God.
and I mean, I gotta admit, look,
Yeah.
and I look disheveled on a flight, okay? He looked disheveled on this flight.
Oh
And
my
I mean,
God.
I don't blame them for everything they just went
Yeah.
through. So I knew Craig was on the flight. I didn't say any. I mean, I talk about seeing Bravo celebrities. the Vegas airport that Monday
Oh my
after
God.
BravoCon was like, everyone was there. I was the one that saw the Salt Lake City Housewives at the
Oh my
Chili's.
God. Oh
Like,
my
it
God.
was like nonstop.
Yeah.
So Craig was on my flight. And then as I was entering baggage claim, I saw like this really short woman with like really long blonde hair. And I hear someone go, she's on some show or something. And I look and I'm like, oh, that's definitely Madison.
Oh my God.
So that was just, I
Insane.
didn't really see her, but I know she was on my flight, which was cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry, go on.
But yeah, I mean that,
And they kept doing press.
they kept, and then I think they went to New York and they were doing press there. Like,
That is
how do
crazy.
they have the energy? Like, it took me a full week, I think, to recover
Yeah.
from BravoCon, and I was just there because I wanted to be. Like, they were insanely busy, and
Right.
then I don't know how they do it, honestly.
Well, that's exactly how I felt because, like I had mentioned, I got recognized just from my TikToks and stuff, and like I did not look. I thought maybe like a couple people would say hi to me. I don't know why I just didn't factor like this is literally all of my followers in one place. So I was
Yeah.
getting recognized a lot. I mean, it was a lot. And after that first day passed, and I was like, I was feeling really overwhelmed by it. Like I was literally like, I could never be famous. Like this is too much for me. The pressure, which it was that was the hangover talking, but it really helped put into perspective all those Bravo stars go through. Because if
Totally.
I'm feeling that way,
Yeah.
what I went through was 1/50th of probably
Yeah.
what they went through just in that first
Insane.
day. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and
definitely it's a lot.
It's a lot. And I think also like the fans got more crazy as the weekend went on. Like I feel like Friday, people were a bit more respectful and you could have longer interactions with people as they were walking through. By Saturday, there was so much screaming and mobbing.
Screaming.
It was insane. Like,
Yes.
honestly, it was like, I can't even think who else would get. It was like Harry Styles walking through, you know.
Yeah, it was like it truly was like the Beatles.
A
Like I felt like
school.
the
It
Real
was
Housewives of Salt
yeah.
Lake City were the Beatles. Like it was,
Totally.
and Craig was the Harry Styles, and that was enough. I left BravoCon knowing that the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is the most popular show on Bravo too. Like
100%.
the way that like no offense to other housewives, I love everyone, but it was like Salt Lake is up here and everything else down here. Like people are so obsessed. Their panel, there was not an empty seat in the room. It was, I mean, and I knew it was a popular one, but that was pretty eye-opening by how many people love that franchise.
Absolutely. And rightly so. It is delivering. Like there is not one person that is dead weight on that show.
I completely agree. Today, so we're recording this on a Wednesday, right? And the Vanderpump Rules premiere just happened last night. So today they all came out on it came out on Peacock. I only had time to watch one show before I did this podcast, and I chose Salt Lake over Vanderpump Rules because I just was like, I need to know what these bitches are up to. Like I care way more. I'll learn the other people on Vanderpump eventually, but Salt Lake, it's the first spot for me right now.
Yep, without a doubt, that is my number one show over anything else on Bravo at the moment, and I will always go to that one over anything else, which is quite a tragedy when you think about the offerings. Like OC was diabolical for me this season, and you know, if we didn't have the Shannon and Alexis Bellino storyline last year, really, in all honesty, for me, the last few years it's been totally depressing and just not the same.
Well, do we think it's because, like, now that I think about it, like, well, I guess Miami's fairly new too, but it's like, you know, you always hear people say, oh, those first couple seasons of New Jersey, Atlanta, New York, they're the best seasons. It's like, are we in the best seasons of Salt Lake right now? Are we going to be talking about these first 5 seasons years from now when hopefully not? But, you know, obviously OC, Beverly Hills, like it's not quite what it used to be, right?
No.
So I hope that doesn't happen to Salt Lake, but that's definitely why Salt Lake is as popular as it is, because we're in the best days right now.
Yes.
But those ladies are crazy. Exactly. Yeah, these are the best days of our lives. Those ladies are crazy though. I think they're going to keep delivering every season. Crazy as a compliment.
Totally. They are so quirky and unique, and Like, I think we're really seeing those people. But I will counter with Reboot Roni. I would absolutely not say those were the best days of
100.
that
Well,
show's life.
that was tough. And you know what? I gotta say though, I liked the first season, and like the first season of the reboot, and I was like,
Yeah,
oh, there's something here, and then just really went off the rails that second
totally.
season. Oh,
Totally.
tough.
Totally. I know. What did you think about Andy saying at BravoCon that they're not going to be bringing back OGs?
You know, it's probably. I mean, I'm disappointed, but it's probably for the best because it would really suck to bring back OGs with new people and have it not mesh and just
Yeah.
have it be kind of a dud. I think maybe things would be different if they didn't also announce this like ultimate road trip thing that
Mm,
obviously New York OGs are going to be on. I mean,
yeah.
like who was it? Carol, Luann, Sonia, Dorinda. I think those were the four that were all
Yeah.
at BravoCon. They're obviously doing something with them, you know?
Yeah. What do
So
you
I don't
think
know.
about Carol coming back after all of the Twitter wars and rants about Bravo and Housewives for so long?
You know, I have to admit I'm not so familiar with OG. Okay,
Okay.
the biggest fraud thing about me is I am behind on my Housewives, and my followers know that. Everybody knows that. But I've gone back and I've started really honing in on Original New York, and it's funny because I started watching Original New York, and then I immediately jumped ship briefly so I could watch Crappy Lake because I was like, I need to see
Okay.
Crappy Lake now that I know them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm familiar. Look, it's interesting because I know that a lot of women specifically don't. Here's all I know about Carol. I'll say this. Women think that she tries too hard to be a cool girl. That's what I've like
Mm,
heard.
yeah, that's the
I
vibe.
There must be not many people can slander Bravo and still come back to Bravo. And Andy
Totally.
obviously really likes her. I mean, she just made that appearance on Watch What Happens Live. So I wonder if she really just is like an enamoring person to be around. You tell me what you think.
Mm. I think there's also the Kennedy Association, and
Yeah.
we sort of like go through seasons of the Kennedy nostalgia coming back, and we know that Ryan Murphy's making a new show about JFK Jr. and Carolyn Bessette, and she claims they were her best friends in the world. Maybe they were. She was married to JFK Jr.'s cousin,
Right.
and she's sort of like, I think the reason people found that annoying on the show is that she sort of like makes that her whole personality, that she's like Kennedy adjacent, but she's
Mhm.
actually, adjacent.
Right.
Like her husband wasn't actually a Kennedy. He was related to a Kennedy.
Mhm.
He was the son of Jackie's sister. Um, Having said that, oh my God, you're like in the biggest, most famous fairy tale family in the whole country, I would say.
Mhm.
So I get it. But also, yeah, there was just kind of like a too cool factor about her. And I went through phases of like thinking she had some like brilliant one liners. One of the famous ones is that like they were on a girls' trip and she's like, I woke to the sound of two male voices, and one of them was Luann, and so like
Yeah.
she says it completely dry and deadpan, and she's funny, but I don't know, it felt like she was holding back a little bit and trying to, maintain the coolness where, Sonia was an absolute drunken mess and Luann was getting arrested, and like
Right.
everyone was like really just letting it all hang out, and she seemed quite in control all the time.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I think she had a big falling out with Andy. They were best friends for a long time, and for years that was like a big fracture, and so it feels a bit strange that she's coming back.
Maybe they've bonded over, don't they both dislike Bethany?
Yes, probably, actually.
So maybe
That's a
Bethany
good point.
Frankel brought them together. Who's to say?
I love it.
They shared a
Yes.
common enemy.
That's true. That's
But that
all
is
anyone needs.
that is interesting to hear. I knew it was such a big deal that she was on Watch What Happens Live. I wasn't quite sure why. That
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense. Because it does seem like when Andy's done with you, he's done with you. I mean, have you been seeing
totally.
all that he's been saying about Jen Shaw? Like, we need to put a
Yes.
period at the end of this sentence. She's never coming back. Bravo. Granted, that's different. She's literally in jail,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Teresa's been back. you
Yeah.
know? So it's like
Yeah.
it does seem like when he really doesn't like someone, he'll let you know. So
Yeah.
maybe she has something to offer with this new housewives road trip, and
Maybe.
time will tell.
I also really hope with the road trip that the best thing about OG Roni was that we really got to see their lives. You
Hmm.
know, it wasn't really about their famous life, which came later. It was about their kids and their husbands or ex-husbands. And, you know, we got to really see their day-to-day inside their life, like Luann trying to embark on a singing career, and,
Exactly.
you know, Alex McCord trying to have a modeling career. And, you know, it was like really, it was really gave it a fullness that has been missing from more modern day
Right. Well, and like
housewives.
that truly is, it's nobody's fault. It's just reality TV has gotten so much bigger now than it ever was then. And
Mm.
though that's why those original housewives, the original Vanderpump Rules, I mean, even shows like The Real World and stuff that just aired
Yes.
so long ago was so good and so authentic because it didn't, you're just on a reality show, right? It
Yeah.
wasn't reality was not what it is today. It's kind of an issue I do have with these newer reality shows, and why I'm weary of this new Vanderpump Rules. It's because, I mean, I'm obviously going to watch it,
Yeah.
but these people know what being on a reality show will bring to them,
Totally.
and people know how to act on a reality show.
Mm.
We're way too aware of what's going to be on camera. It's too easy for us to reserve certain things. Like Sonia, Luann, they didn't reserve fucking
Yes.
anything, right? They
Totally.
didn't care. Ramona, I mean,
Yeah.
for better or for worse, like
Yeah.
their true personality was out there. And
Yeah.
that's just something that's so rare for us to have these days, which, I mean, I understand if I went on reality TV, I don't think
Yeah.
I would have like zero inhibitions and just say like, this is the real me. Like you are going to
No.
kind of mold yourself because, a good edit can bring
Yeah.
you lots of money.
Totally, totally. And so you know you can't really blame them because yes, it's manufactured, yes, it's being cast like any other show on TV would get cast now. But I think that's what makes, and I know that, you know, you've talked about this before as well. That's what makes Southern Hospitality so good is that
Yes.
they actually know each other. They actually all work together. It started filming when they were nobody. They were just
Mm-hmm.
people working in bars, and they're, you know, coming into fame now. And there is, yes, they know about, you know, that some of them were influencers and, you know, had followings to like, you know, sell clothing, that kind of thing, get
Right,
like
right, right.
brand deals, that sort of thing. But it's a completely different beast. I feel like even the Vanderpump reboot feels different to Southern Hospitality again. I don't know if it's the location,
I
but
guess it's tough. So, being that I live in LA too, my friends and I just talked about this last night where I guess I'm not familiar with Southern Carolina, right? Or Southern Carolina, South
Southern.
Carolina.
I was like, oh,
if
is that what the locals call
if they
it?
right, yeah, no, it's definitely not. I'm not familiar with South Carolina in the sense that like if you tell me Republic is like the hot fun bar in Charleston, I'm gonna believe you. But
Yeah.
now but for Sir, for example, I know Sir is not like a hot young bar anymore,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that already is kind of like an unbelievable thing of like it's just so obvious. Now, granted, there are people on this new Vanderpump Rules that have worked there for years, and I have seen them when there's no cameras there.
Oh,
But
okay.
they've obviously placed people in there as
Yeah.
well. Nobody works at Sir unless you really watch the show. In my opinion, I could be wrong.
Yes.
And I think that's where it differs from Southern Hospitality because Republic was not a thing. It wasn't a thing that was already
Mm.
on TV. These people worked there because they wanted
Yeah.
to work there and they wanted to work with their friends, and they're all friends. And I truly believe the drama we see on camera on Southern Hospitality would come out whether or not they were being filmed. But
Yes.
but that's not necessarily the case with this. That was the case with old Vanderpump, right? But with this new
Totally.
Vanderpump, it's like Sir was already established as the Vanderpump Rules restaurant.
Yeah.
There's a chance they're going to be on camera. So I don't know. Maybe I'm being skeptical. I'm going to watch every second of this new Vanderpump, and I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But yes, Southern hospitality is just really authentic. And my mom has even said this is like, they're just like real kids. They don't have a trust fund. Like they just want to get drunk, party, and make money. And
Totally.
I do love that for them.
Yeah. Yeah. I had Emmy on this show last year. Was it last year or this year? I don't know. I have no sense of like space and time at the moment. It is
Right.
like Christmas in a couple of weeks and I'm so
Mind
not
blowing.
there.
I know. I
Yeah.
know.
I'm still clearly in BravoCon. That's where I am.
Yeah.
Um, but like so I had her on the show and I actually really liked her. Like we had a lot, we went really deep on her ADHD as a child and what that is like for her living with it. It sounds like it's pretty intense for her.
Mhm.
And she has a lot of sensory issues and challenges, which make filming a show like this, difficult. And she's probably more reactive and sensitive than maybe, a neurotypical person might be. And she really went into it. And I was really impressed with that. And then I saw the panel at BravoCon. And I thought she got a really hard time. There was that very shady question.
Yes.
And then I messaged her afterwards and I said, look, I think you handled yourself really well. That was tough to watch. You okay? And she was, sort of saying she was sort of okay. Like I think it was a lot. And I wonder what you think about why she gets singled out for her relationship. I mean, we watched Vanderpump Rules for 12 seasons with genuinely, and The Valley with like genuinely toxic relationships. We don't totally know what went on with Will and Emmy. They've chosen to get engaged. They're kind of at a beginning part of their kind of relationship. Why do you think she gets so much heat for her relationship?
Well, we always blame the woman, right? Like, is
Mm,
that not like when I feel like a good example is like Katie and Schwartz, right? Looking
yes,
back on it, Schwartz wasn't a great partner to her. But
totally.
people were like, well, Katie's a bitch, tequila Katie,
Yes.
Katie's a bitch. But then when she left him, now people like her, right? I think if
Mm,
Emmy would have broken up with Will at the end of last season, she would be getting a very different reaction from the fans. I think
mm,
people would be like, you go, girl, you got this, like, fuck him, you're stronger than him, you're better than him, blah, 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 whatever. I don't love Will. And I
mm.
really think, I mean, I don't know Will. The quote character of Will that I'm
Okay.
seeing on TV.
Yeah.
I feel like he left her out to dry. And I think
Mm,
she was being a loyal girlfriend who is now a fiance. And I think that they genuinely love each other. But we were shown an aspect of them, and the facts were there that like he ditched her at that reunion, and she had to really own up to all his shit by herself
yeah.
with this cast that is not afraid to fight back and
No.
bite. And it's like you feel bad for her, but then a couple months later she's engaged to the guy. So you
Yeah.
actually, I think that it's not that people dislike Emmy. I think that it's just people don't feel bad for Emmy because it's
Mm,
like she's making her bed and she's lying in it. I also I like Emmy, and I think that she's really misunderstood. And I could tell when she had that freak out about the dresses at
mhm.
Republic, and she went into that panic attack, which again, you didn't really see Will support her that much, which
Yeah.
they're only showing us what they want to show us. We don't really know what
Yeah.
happened behind closed doors. But I, even as a fan watching that freak out, had enough wherewithal to be like, there's something else going on here, right?
Totally.
She's not just like a crazy bitch, like what fans
Yeah.
want to say. She's got something going on in her head and she's overwhelmed and blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, most fans don't think that way, right? You you're seeing one thing, and obviously that's what you're going to take it as, right?
Mm.
It's the narrative that is being edited. I feel like I'm going on a ramble now, but it's
No,
like
this is great.
I just think that people like me and you have probably watched so much reality TV, and we're a bit older than like a lot of people too that like have watched reality TV, and like
Yeah.
we have life experiences. I've had a freak out like Emmy's before that
Yeah.
had it, and I knew deep down my freak out didn't actually have to do with what I was freaking out about. There was other
Totally.
shit going on.
Yeah.
So, but you just see that one side of Emmy, and it was a tough look for her. Personally, I am shocked that she's returning to the show.
Mm.
like without Will.
Yeah.
I knew Will wasn't going to go back, and I think that was
Yeah.
a smart move for him. But I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
just, why do you think she's returning to something that is obviously such a toxic environment for her?
Well, I think it comes down to like making reality TV and fame a career. And
Hmm.
I think, Will has said, I think Emmy's a star. I think it was on the Vile Files they did that
Hmm.
interview.
I
And
did
he was
listen
like,
to that.
I'm kind of like stepping back, but, this is her thing. And, to be fair, like she has talked about the most really on that cast. I mean, during filming and what we see on the shows, the heat does get onto different people like Maddie kind of and her relationships get a lot of focus. The Joe Bradley of it all gets a lot of focus. But, people are talking about Emmy a lot. And I don't know, maybe it's a bit naive and she's thinking that she can just convince everybody that everything's great. And, when we were talking, um, like I can't remember if it was on the pod or after, she was kind of already thinking about what she could show next season. And like, well, I think we're going to get engaged and then it'll be like all about wedding planning. And so in her mind, she's kind of got all of these really exciting, big life milestones that she wants to share. But I'm not sure that she's really thought through what that's going to look like by herself, you know?
Right. I do think it will probably end up being, with Will not in the picture, I think we could maybe see her mending her friendships.
Yeah.
But based on that panel at BravoCon, the thing about Southern hospitality too is they are like so about the drama, which I love as a
Yeah.
fan, but I never really know like who's beefing and who's not. Because in that
Yes.
panel, they did say, like Bradley said, like, oh, Austin Kroll like hates our show. But then in the Southern
Yes.
Charm panel, Austin Kroll was like, yeah, Bradley texted me and said he just said my name because he knew I wouldn't be mad. So I'm like, where is the beef? Because I
Yes.
really need to know. But it did seem to me like none of the guys were friends with Will and have no
Yeah.
intentions of ever being friends with Will ever again. And
Yeah.
knowing that Will was with Emmy that whole time at BravoCon, it makes me wonder, did they all hang out or were Emmy and Will kind of on their
Yeah.
own? And I would love to see a season of Emmy without Will, mending friendships and getting a better edit. That's what I wanted for Olivia Flowers on Southern Charm. I thought
Mm.
she deserved a season where it wasn't about her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend, her best friend hooking up with her boyfriend and her brother dying.
Yeah.
Like it was
Yes.
just drama for her, and I would have loved for her to have a season like Emmy's getting the opportunity to have, to kind of tie up some loose ends and here's the real me
Yeah.
when the drama's not there.
Yes.
So we'll
Yes.
see.
I would love to see that for Emmy too. And we got glimpses of that in the first season with her relationship with the girls.
Hmm.
It's sort of, there seemed to be a bit more of a picture of the other parts of her life. So yeah, I think that will be interesting. But you just said something about Olivia with Southern Charm. I feel like that show, which I'm obsessed with, by the way,
Hmm.
I feel like they're just kind of like exchanging like skinny blonde girl for skinny blonde girl for skinny blonde girl until they find, I don't know what they're looking for, but like one that sticks or one that like has enough oomph. Because we've had Taylor and we've had Olivia and we've had a whole host of about 5 other girls before that, and now we've got, I've just gone blank on her name, Charlie.
Hmm.
Charlie's the new one. It's just kind of like feels like same. Is it that like the girls hook up with those guys and get chewed up and spat out and then it's another one to replace? Like,
Yeah, I don't know what the deal. Maybe like hanging out with, no offense, but maybe hanging out with Craig Austin and Shep all the time, like, isn't that fun? And they just
yeah.
hit their wits' end. But I think the big issue is that every girl that has gone through that show has been a partner or they've
Mm,
hooked up. I mean, even Madison, but she's been the one
yeah.
constant. You know what's interesting? I just thought of when you said that. Because you're right.
Mm,
It's been the same guys the whole time. And the
yep.
girls are kind of recycling through, give or take, like a couple girls have stayed, Madison, whatever.
Yeah.
But Is that kind of not similar to Summer House, where the girls have been kind of the same, but they keep
Mm,
cycling in and out guys, hoping one will stick. And it
true.
wasn't until recently that Jesse and West finally stuck, but it was really just
True.
Kyle and Carl for a long time.
You're so right. And there've been so many guys that have come through and not been interesting or stuck it out. That's a really good. I've always said that Southern Charm really should just be called Southern Gentlemen because this is just
Yeah,
it's their show and they are the staple cast. Those three guys, I mean, really, they are. And
I
then it's
agree.
the Miss Patricia and the Whitney on the side, and then whatever girls are coming through. And I really like Madison being there, particularly as like a longtime friend of Patricia's. We
Yeah,
kind of need a kind of female narrator, like casting a squinted eye over the guys, kind of.
right.
But I think if we just accept that that's what the show is, it's the one show that's centered on guys in the Bravo universe, then maybe we'll feel a bit differently about it. And then, the other shows can all be about the women coming and the men can come and go.
Right. And even because I gotta admit, I mean, we're only what, 2 episodes in. I am enjoying this season of Southern Charm. I mean, more than I have previous seasons because we are seeing the women more. But again, it's
Mm,
all centered around Craig,
yeah,
right? And
totally.
but
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward. I love Anita, and I'm looking forward to her having more of a voice on the show. I think she's ready to. I think she's just kind of like fuck it. People don't. I met her at BravoCon, and she made a comment about how like so many people hate her, which
Mm,
I don't love that. But I think that because she has that mindset, she's probably just like, well, fuck it. People don't like me. So I'm just going
yeah.
to be bold and say how I really feel. Now, and I
Yeah.
think because of the backlash Craig got after he and Paige broke up, that almost acted as like a door opening for her to be like, oh, I don't have to hold back how I feel about Craig. Because I could imagine being a woman on Southern Charm is scary. Your job is
Yeah.
not guaranteed. Like you said, girls come and go every season.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll see. But
Yeah.
I just felt like last season they kept Taylor but not Olivia. Like it's one
Yeah.
I never agreed with that.
No, that was probably one season too long for Taylor, although
Yeah.
the crossover with the freckly lipped girl
Oh, Sienna.
was I mean,
Yeah.
that kind of brought something. But it's interesting you say that about Vanita because I had been a bit critical of her in the first few seasons, and through no fault of her own, all we ever saw of her was her talking to her dog at home.
Hmm.
That's not the show. Then she had this season with JT last
Yeah,
season, and that
that
was
was a
like,
tough watch. Yeah.
whoa, what is happening? And now I feel like we're seeing really a whole lot more of her. And I also met her at BravoCon, and she was one of the most fun people I
Hmm.
met the entire weekend.
Yeah.
So much energy, nothing like what we see on the show, just like so much fun, like a real shining star.
You
And
see,
so
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, so I hope we see more of that side of her on the show.
This is exactly why, and I will die on this hill if I ever become president of the United States. This is the platform I'm running on. This is
Okay.
exactly why we need to bring back Winter House because there's
Yes.
so many. Like I feel like someone like Vanita, like you said, I had a similar experience. She was so fun and outgoing at
Yeah.
BravoCon, but you don't really get to see that on the show because I don't think those are really her people, right? But
Yeah.
bring her in the same house with like the Summer House cast, people
Yeah.
that she's actually friends with, and like let us see the real side of her. I loved getting to see different sides of people on Winter House that you don't really get to see. Like I thought that was a great thing for Tom Schwartz to go on Winter
Totally.
House without Sandoval by
Yes.
himself, and we finally for the first time get to see him without Katie and Sandoval, you know? So
Yes.
did
Yes.
you watch Winter House when it was
Of
on?
course. I watched
You
everything.
so and you're a Below Deck fan, right?
Yeah.
So what was interesting to me about Winter House is I hadn't watched Below Deck before Winter House, and that third season they had Alex with the longish curly hair. He was
Yes.
on Sailing Yacht, maybe he was on one of the
Yes.
Below Decks.
Admittedly, I don't watch Sailing Yacht.
You
Yeah.
gotta watch Sailing Yacht. The
Really?
drama on Sailing Yacht, Yana.
Oh my God,
There's
really?
love triangles. There's pregnancies. There's denying that the baby's there. Like It's
Oh my God. Okay.
skip season 1 because none of those people come
Okay.
back. Skip season 1,
Okay.
and then I think like it's 2 to 4. It's pretty much the same people each time. Daisy's the chief stew. There are like hookups that had my jaw dropping, baby. Let me tell you.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you've sold me.
But, and it's like, that was my gateway one. Someone told me just
Okay.
watch Sailing Yacht and then you'll want to watch Below Deck. So
Okay.
well, Sailing Yacht was the first one I ever watched.
Wow.
Yeah, so good. But anyways, I think Alex was on Sailing Yacht. And it was funny because he was like, I mean, I could be wrong, but I think he was on Sailing Yacht. He was
Yeah,
like
I
the
think he
guy,
was.
whichever one he was on, he was like the guy. And
Yeah.
all the girls thought he was so hot and everyone wanted to hook up with him. And he just had his choice of women. So then after seeing that, I was like, oh, his behavior on Winter House makes so much sense that
Got
he just
it.
thought he was going to hook up with Jordan and that he was hooking up with
Yeah.
Danielle. So it is important. Just who you see on Winter House is so different than who you see on the original show. And it's just like
Totally.
my favorite thing about Winter House.
And you know what? It's got that big brother element or that real world element where they're together 24/7.
Yeah.
You know, and we don't have that on any other show really, apart
No,
from
we
Below
don't.
Deck where they're living and working together.
That's true. But it's
You
such
know?
a short, well, I guess Winter House is a short amount of time too. Yeah, you're right though.
So, you know, they're getting tired, they're having to be with each, there's no respite. And so that's just like the ultimate recipe for drama
Right.
and hookups and all of that. But yeah, I feel like it was such a good vehicle for seeing people in a different light. And it's a real shame. I don't know why it got cancelled because I thought it was great.
I liked it. I do think that third season was not like the best. In my opinion, maybe they were just kind of like running out of people to throw in. But since that third season, we now have Southern Hospitality. We now
Totally.
have Jesse and West, right? Like there's
Yes.
so many younger single people. I mean,
Yes.
Southern Hospitality, Southern Charm, they are kind of intermingling with Summer House in a way, with
Yes.
West kind of hanging out with Sally. Like
Yep.
them all being in a house together over
Oh.
winter break would be insane.
Totally. But one caveat, there cannot be any Corey Kiefer. Please.
Okay,
God.
fine. I'll sign that petition.
Okay,
I'll
great.
sign that petition. Yeah, how do you feel about him being on Southern Charm?
I just think he's like so gross. He's just such a gross guy.
He's not fun for me to watch. And like,
No.
I'm sorry, but I can see, I love Molly. I think Molly is so beautiful and awesome,
Yes.
but I can see right through him flirting with Molly. He's
Totally.
like, single girl, great, this will give me a little bit. I mean, look, I could be
Yeah.
wrong, but I feel like it was a bit calculated, him like hitting on Molly.
Yeah. And you know, I feel like for people like you and me, Craig is really having a bit of a redemption arc. Like the fans are kind of liking, I mean, apart from the totally like team page people who are like the gigglers are always going to giggle. But for a lot of us, we're seeing Craig again in a different light. And I think him bringing Corey around is so bad for his new image. Like, this is not the guy. We got to like cut him loose. We don't need that guy anymore.
I just personally, well, one, he's probably bringing, okay, I have two things to say. I could understand him bringing Corey around though if he does feel like him and Austin are kind of on the outs. Like, I do feel like it's almost like Austin and Shep versus Craig a lot of the time.
True.
So maybe he just feels like he needs a friend.
Yeah.
But I don't think Craig knows what his new image even is, because I wanted to believe last season that he's trying to better himself. And, you know, he had that whole talk with Austin about how he has a really big problem with alcohol and he doesn't like the person he is when he's drunk. But then it's the second episode this season and he's hungover in his kitchen. Like, I just like, how can I? What is it? Like, I just am a little confused by the whole thing. But I think Craig is a little confused by the whole thing too. So I'm not shaming him, but I just, I want everybody to succeed always. I want Jax Taylor to turn a corner and succeed. But it's like, you're talking the talk, but I need to see you walk the walk. And I don't think he's walking the walk right now.
Who, Jax?
Oh, definitely not Jax, but Craig. But also at the same time, Craig's a newly single guy, and I can understand him saying it's hard for me to navigate being single unless I'm going out at the bars and meeting people. I totally get that. I don't know how I feel about Craig. Craig is someone that I enjoy watching on TV, but like I don't think I would set him up with one of my single girlfriends, if that makes
No,
sense.
probably not. And I
Yeah.
think the thing that's not really being talked about in all of the kind of Craig discussion is the element of fame. This is a huge piece in all of that, because it's not just about like, yes, when we break up with someone, we're reestablishing our identity and like what our future's going to look like. And then I give him all of that. Of course, when they were filming, it was only 4 months after the breakup and it was all, finding his way. I feel like in real life now, he's kind of establishing himself a little bit more in terms of his identity. But the fame factor, like, of course, it's hard to go out. Like, we saw what happened at BravoCon. He was like Brad Pitt, or like you say, the Harry Styles
Yeah.
of BravoCon, and mobbed incessantly. So, what must that be like for him in real life? And how do you manage that if you have a little bit of social anxiety, or you're not quite sure who you are or what your place in the world is right now because you're newly on your own and your future looks different? How do you manage all of that with that fame?
Yeah, it's
No wonder you're
difficult.
drinking.
And yeah, look, it's something that I would not know how to do.
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Tricky. He did start following me like a few days ago. And it was after I posted um, a clip from a previous episode, which was a little bit mean. Like, we were talking about how he had been such a dick early on and I'd never liked him and I never thought he was good looking. And now I'm after meeting him in real life.
well,
I
because it was like he was like, I got her. Yes,
did.
I changed her mind. No, look, don't get me wrong. I'm sure Craig is like so nice. Like that's the
Yeah.
whole thing with Bravo and reality TV, and it's kind of like a tough struggle because it's like it's a reality show. So like I
Yeah.
want to believe that I know the type of person you are, but then it's kind of all up to editing, right? And then like
Yeah.
I meet you in person and it's like, fuck you, but you're like so nice, you know?
Yes,
So it's just
totally.
so I could look, I no shade to anybody. I as
Yeah.
long as they're all nice and grateful for the fans, then that's all
Yeah.
we can ask for.
Totally. And he certainly was that. Now, did you have any other interactions at BravoCon where you did think, oh my God, I hate watching this person? And then, like, oh my God, they're so nice in real life?
Um there isn't really many people that I hate. For what it's worth, if I am not a fan of someone, I probably won't go up and say hi to them.
Yeah.
Because what am I gonna say? Like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm a big fan, because that's like not necessarily true, right? But it's not
Yeah.
common. Like, I really like only dislike. I re- okay,
Two people? I've got two.
I dislike Jax Taylor, if we can consider him a Bravo
Okay.
celebrity. My whole thing is I really, really, really try to be non-biased online, because everybody is a human being at the end of the day and everybody has
Love
feelings,
that.
and there's enough people out there shitting on them and tearing them apart for everything
Mm,
they do. They don't need another voice, right? But there's some people you just can't ignore.
mhm.
I will say negative things about Jax Taylor. I've even stopped saying negative things about Sandoval, though. Like, I used to be
Mm,
kind of a hater. I'm not really a hater of him anymore, to be honest. He's just like whatever, he's there.
yeah.
So just Jax, who's your two?
Well, I mean, Tamara is
Oh,
takes up
well, the
spot number
OC, I will
one.
say OC is another one of those housewives that I'm not super privy to. I do think
Yeah.
if I really watched Real Housewives of Orange County, I would probably add some names to my list for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, I have felt this way about her from, I think she joined in season 3 and she showed us who she was in season 3 and she's only gotten worse. And, some people have said that in real life she's actually lovely. And then I think, well, if you're choosing to be such a psycho on a TV show, like what does that even say about you? Like,
Yeah.
and I don't think you can fake that personality or those traits, so convincingly. She's not an actor.
Right.
And I just feel like, she's really she's got a big responsibility for the tanking of that franchise. And the quicker they can like clean up house, and they're starting that with bringing back Vicky, They need to bring back a few more of the
But they're
old.
definitely going to keep Tamara for the 20th
I
season.
know they will.
Have to,
They
yeah.
will. But
But
then
maybe maybe like they'll subdue her a little bit with all the other people that are there.
I hope so. I hope so. But it's just like when I watch these shows, I want to suspend belief. It's like what you were saying before about Sir. You know, as an LA native, that's not a cool place so much anymore. It's not like the happening bar that everyone's desperate to like work at. So that already makes it a little bit unreal. And I think anything Tamara says or does on that show makes it all unreal. I don't believe any drama. I don't believe lies. I don't believe her fake tears and hurt about things and, taking issue with people speaking about her on a podcast when that's literally what she does for a job, is speak about those people on podcasts. So it just like makes it all fake to me. And then I just have no...
Right. It's like, why am I investing my time on this when I know it's not real? When I know
exactly.
I also have that issue with a lot. That's my issue with the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives sometimes. I'm like, I can tell which things are real and which aren't. And it's like, I will fast forward through scenes that I know are fake because I'm like, I'm not going to waste my time with this. Okay, that's valid. I'm trying to think. I honestly, just to go back to your question, I have a hard time like talking to Bravo celebrities. I think because I am like a Bravo content creator, I fear that they're naturally going to think I like talk shit on them. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know. But Vanita, super nice. I mean, all my experiences were obviously really nice, but Vanita and Sierra I met separately, but they were both like super kind. Sierra was at the Threads event and she was kind of sitting at a table by herself, like, and no one was really talking to her. It kind of seemed like she didn't want to be approached. But I was with my friend who his handle is Josh the Roni Stan, and he's like always sticking up for her and Paige. I'm like, Josh, you have to go. I only met her because I forced Josh to meet her. I was like, you have to go say hi to her. Like, this is your girl. So, and I mean, she got up, she was so nice. She hugged, she was great. I had a really great conversation with Carl Radke. I do think Carl is a really genuinely nice person. And I think that was his fault with Lindsay, where I think he was trying too hard to be like the nice guy. And then he waited too long to end things with her. And then it made him look like a piece of shit. Like, I think both things can be true, right? But no, he was really kind and like, we were having a conversation and I literally felt like it was just me and him in the room. Like, I felt like I almost had to be like, by the way, Carl, I have a boyfriend. Like, oh my God. Like, it wasn't like that, but like, he was just intimate. It was very intimate. He was so dialed in and like so nice. And then was like, hey, if you're ever in New York, come to Soft Bar. Like, we'll make a video together. Like, he was really, really, really nice. So that was probably my most shocking. Not that I thought he wouldn't be nice, but that it was like just such a kind interaction. So big fan of Carl now after that.
That's amazing. I think you're right. Like he got a bad rap with the end of the relationship. Also, I think most of the women who were watching Summer House that season, we all collectively got the ick, as that relationship, like with the give me a hug and like
we've all known a Carl and we haven't ended up with the Carl. So I think we all were just like, oh, what the fuck is this guy's problem? But he just was. I do think that's genuinely, I think some guys act like that in a manipulative way. I kind of think that is just how he is.
Yeah, totally. And when you compare him to almost any other guy on Bravo, he is not the bad guy. He's not.
Exactly.
He's not.
Who was like some of your favorite people that you met?
Do you know what? On the Sunday, speaking of men of Bravo, my friend Dana, the Bravo investigator, she had been talking with Jessie Lally new girlfriend, Lacey, and was just texting and saying, hey, can we meet up? And so we left, I think we were in the Next Gen NYC panel, which, was being moderated amazingly. But like as a cast, they're like a bit flat and it was kind of
they were a bit, they weren't giving much.
No, and it's not really the way to like go out with a bang on the Sunday. We're all kind of a bit, it was a bit of a snooze. So we went out into the bazaar and met up with Lacey and Jessie. And they were just kind of there waiting to meet Dana because Lacey and Dana had been chatting quite a lot. And we ended up like they're like trying to do some tequila. And so we were like just sitting there drinking tequila and chatting with them for, I don't know, about 40 minutes, an hour. And I was so blown away by how lovely Jessie was, genuinely.
I could see that. I think
Yeah.
Jesse, you know what? That actually, I completely forgot. Like the whole Valley cast is like
Yeah.
so nice. I didn't meet Danny, Nia, or Brittany, but I met Jesse, Michelle, Lacey, Jasmine, Melissa, Zach, Benji, like all of them. And they
Yes.
were really, really down to earth. I didn't like
Yeah.
really talk to Jesse, but I do think Jesse, and this is kind of his fault with Michelle as well. It's just like a facilitator type of guy, almost like a Tom Sandoval, where he just wants everyone to have a good time. And oh,
Yeah.
you need a drink, I'll give you a drink. Like I
Yes.
genuinely believe that is how he is. So I
Yeah.
have no problem believing that about him.
Yeah. Totally. And, you know, we were talking a bit about the show, and, you know, he was so like Lacey is the loveliest, loveliest girl. And I can't imagine that such a lovely girl would be with a total asshole if he
Yeah.
was. And I just didn't get that vibe. And I think what we saw from him last season was someone that was going through a messy and painful divorce on the back of a season where he had been hoping to save the relationship, and she was definitely checked out and moving on. And so we saw all of this crumbling of like pride and love. And, you know, we do horrible, nasty things when we're in pain. And I think maybe that's what we were seeing. I mean, I guess we'll see what happens this season, but I don't know. He just doesn't strike me as he's not a Jax, you know?
100, I agree. I want nothing more than for him and Michelle to be friends.
Yes.
Like I love that Katie and Tom Schwartz are friendly with each other.
Yeah.
Their relationship, sure. I mean, relationships end for a reason, and it might have been poorly, but it's not like it wasn't like a Sandoval Ariana or a Brittany and
Yeah.
Jax ending. I would love to see a season where Michelle and Jesse are cordial with each other, because like sometimes they would have moments with each other where they were kind of like bantering, and I was like, okay, I
Yes.
see how you guys are married now, and I
Totally.
like that. I like to
Yeah.
see that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
oh god, I almost always forget about the Valley, but I'm excited for that one. You know who I didn't interact with any or even see anybody from the Valley Persian style, like who were formerly from Shaws of Sunset,
Mm.
because I know
Yeah.
MJ, Reza, and Gigi were there. I didn't like see them one time.
Yeah. I saw Reza in the distance. I did I can't remember which day it was now, but I was doing a photo op. And so I was like just waiting in the line, and he was doing photo ops as well. And he almost had no one lining up for him. You know, it was completely full for the Beverly Hills girls.
Right. Ugh, that
And
must be a little
Next
awkward.
Gen was the two guys literally had one or two people, and then that was it. And so they had to go away. And Reza was kind of there, just she'd had a small group of people coming. But yeah, I would have liked to interact with him. Like I always think he's like a good energy kind of,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
actually I
fun
met
guy.
him one time at an event in LA, and it was like a couple years ago, and he had been on the Traders the first season, the US Traders. And I was just like, Reza, like I'm good, because this was before any like Shaw's had been over, this wasn't announced, so I didn't really know what else to talk to him about. So I was like,
Yeah.
I'm so bummed. Spoiler alert if you haven't watched the first season of US Traders. I'm so bummed you were the first one out of Traders. I would have loved to have seen you more. And that was like an open door of him being like, oh my God, the Traders. Let me tell you, they had us saying, and he just went on and on and on about, but it was
Wow.
like in a funny way. And he
Yeah,
was really
yeah.
friendly and very open to talk about a show that he was pretty much barely on. So I
Yeah.
had a good experience with him at least. You
Amazing.
know who else was exactly how I would have expected them to be in the best way? Captain Jason and Aisha.
Yes.
They're just so kind and
Totally.
so sweet and so
Totally.
cute.
Totally. I met Aisha in Melbourne actually once before. And so then I was waiting after her panel to say hi. And she spent, I would say, at least half an hour after her panel down off the stage, meeting every single person and giving them all the time in the world.
That's
Everyone wanted to
amazing.
say, like, really, everyone else had left and she could have done the same, but she stood there taking, and the crowd just kept coming and kept coming and
Aw.
kept coming. And she was full of energy and like just genuinely the most lovely person. Like,
Yeah, that was a fun one for me to meet because because Below Deck is really the only Bravo show where you are watching them 24/7, and
yeah,
Aisha does come back so many seasons. Like, I feel like I know Aisha. And like
totally.
when I met her, I told her, I was like, I would never want to work on a yacht, but I want you to be my boss. Like, you just seem
Yes.
like so like, she is one of those people that I'm like, I know I would have so much fun if she was my friend. So
Totally. Yeah.
that was one that I was like a little starstruck by, because it's like, it's Aisha. Like, not
Yeah.
only Below Deck is such an underrated show, and like so many people don't watch it, but not only are we seeing her work and get drunk and go out, it's like they're naked in their bed, drunk,
Totally.
falling off the top,
Totally.
like eating noodles. Like, they talk about people that actually show a pretty unfiltered version of them.
Yeah.
And I interviewed Jason, and he, in the interview, said that he's so thankful that he gets to work on that he gets to do Below Deck, because before, when he was just a captain, he barely saw his kid, and now
Yeah.
he just does Below Deck and gets to see his kids for like his one kid, like 8 months
Amazing.
out of the year. So I'm like,
Yeah.
that makes me want to keep watching and supporting the show.
Totally.
So you guys get to do this
Totally.
forever.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally. I mean, I was an OG Below Deck fan, but it was a bit thin on the ground back then. There wasn't much on, and so it was just the Captain Lee Below Deck
Yeah.
series. And I think the reason people don't watch is there's like 450,000 episodes a year of like 3 different versions of it. So I think people dip in and out, but I think we're getting some really solid cast choices now. Like this, oh my God, the Below Deck that we're going to see with Captain Jason on the Salt Lake crossover. You know, we've got
I cannot
Daisy, we've
wait.
got
I
Chef
cannot wait.
Ben, we've got Joao, who was a polarizing figure in seasons gone by. You know, it's going to be, I think it's going to be a killer season.
Yeah, if anybody is listening right now and they need a way to get into Below Deck, trust me when I say do my easing into it. It was seasons 2 to 4 of Sailing Yacht. Then you can watch all of Below Deck Down Under, because there's only like 3 seasons
Yes.
or 4 seasons of that. I don't even know. And then, so I watched those two, and then, I mean, I haven't watched every or season of Below Deck or Med, but I went on Reddit and I like found like the best seasons, and then I like did it
Nice.
that way. And that was fun, because I'm like, oh, Malia, I know
Mm-hmm.
her from Winter House. Like,
Yes.
they're the best thing about Below Deck is you don't have to watch every season. Like, and
Yes.
that intimidated me about it too. And that is a big reason why I've never watched like Original Roni or Orange County, because there's
Cool.
so many seasons, and I'm like, I'm never going to be able to catch up and understand all of this. So at least with
Yeah.
Below Deck, you don't have to.
Totally. Totally. I love that. Go to Reddit, get the best episodes. But that's so interesting that you watched Winter House with Malia without knowing she had just come off, I think, the season where she got Hannah fired and the
Oh,
world
see, I
turned on
didn't,
her.
I didn't see that season, so I got to go watch.
Oh, oh my God, Kate. This was like huge, you know. And Hannah was also a little bit of a polarizing figure. She
Yeah,
says
I've
whatever
seen
she
some
wants,
with her.
you
Yeah.
know.
Well, I
Yeah.
didn't know that there was so much beef until because I went to the Below Deck panel,
Yeah.
and I didn't realize like her and Captain Sandy like didn't really talk. So that the
Yeah.
Below Deck panel had some good tea. Like, that was a
Huge,
really good
huge.
panel.
Yeah. I mean, I would recommend those Med seasons, maybe even just that last season where Sandy fired her, but it was all Malia's doing. And it was,
Mm.
maybe I won't
Well,
spoil it for you, but it's a lot.
I knew going into Winter House, I had seen a lot of people were really anti Malia. And she didn't have like a great showing on Winter House, to be honest with you. And I
No.
mean, I've seen seasons. I think I only actually saw one season that she was on, and it's the one that she's on with Aisha, and she's a deckhand.
Yep. Yeah.
But I knew people didn't like her, and I wasn't quite sure why. So now I have the
Yeah.
context.
So there was a little bit more lore in that there was like the clashing with Hannah started early on, and then her boyfriend came on as the chef, and she was demanding that everybody switch cabins so she could room with her
Wait,
boyfriend.
and her boyfriend's name is
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
But he was the
Um.
chef that was the chef on the first season of Below Deck Sailing Yacht, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, it could
Let me
be.
look
Oh
it
my god.
up
What was his name? What
before we
was?
lead people astray.
Yes. What was his name? I can see his face. He was English.
Oh, maybe
Um.
not. No, I'm thinking of someone different then.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking of Adam.
Oh, Adam. Adam and Malia did have a thing. Yes.
Because on Sailing Yacht, they showed a lot of flashbacks of him and Malia. So, okay, so it wasn't Adam. Okay.
Okay. No, so I think Adam and Malia had hooked up just before filming. So they might have met each other, maybe in the hotel or something, wherever they hold them before they
Right.
go to go and film. And I think they'd had a little thing there, but it wasn't really a big deal. And then, but Adam, I think, was really into her, but she was sort of like, not really. And then moved on to some other guy on the boat. And then they had a boatmance. So there was all of
Oh,
this kind of
girl.
friction. Like, I mean,
Mm.
there's some good stuff in those early med seasons for sure.
If we haven't convinced you to watch Below Deck by now, I don't know what more we can do.
Seriously. Now, Kate, I have had you here hostage for an hour and 20
I know, but
minutes
I
so
actually
far.
feel like I could be here for another 3 hours and 20
I
minutes. It's
know,
so talking
totally.
about Bravo with people that watch Bravo is like the most fun thing ever.
It is. It is. It is just and I think that's why my heart is still in Vegas, because that was just, it was like going to, I can't even like think of a relevant reference. Like, it's like, I don't know, just diving into the pool of like heaven.
Yeah.
Literally, there was not one, like everything, every single person there was obsessed in the way that we are. Even the Bravolebs were obsessed with Bravo too. Like they're
Yeah.
all fans of all the other shows,
And
and it
they're
was
all
just like,
taking photos with other people from other shows. It
yes,
really was just like magical. It kind of it makes you feel like you're sometimes, especially being a creator too, you kind of feel like I'm the only one that watches this stuff. I'm the only one that's
yeah,
into this stuff. And it makes you feel not alone. And it's nice to
yeah,
feel like you have a community, right? And
totally,
that's exactly what BravoCon was. It was knowing like, oh, there is a community of people that like there's not many places where you can say I have something in common with every single person that's in
yeah,
here, and
yeah.
it's beautiful. So if you
I
are a Bravo
know,
fan, I really think BravoCon is worth the money. It's
a hundred
expensive,
percent.
but it
Yeah,
is definitely worth the money. I
yeah.
saw
Start
that you
saving now.
you did a question on Watch What Happens Live, and you told Andy that there needs to be a BravoCon in Australia.
I
Maybe. Wait,
did,
wasn't
but
there a thing in Mel somewhere? Isn't that where the whole Heather Gay Captain Jason rumor started, because they were doing like press in Australia?
I think they do events here, but they don't do, like, it's not really, it's like not even really advertised. It's not like a big fan event. They might do like a thing in Sydney,
Gotcha.
um, but it's not anything like BravoCon. And when I was on Watch What Happens Live and asked him that question, that was this year. I actually had no intention of going. I didn't even think it would ever be possible for me to be able to leave my family. I've got 3 young kids, and like the thought of like having to leave my poor husband to deal with everything all by himself. But like the opportunity kind of came up, and I said to him, like, I couldn't, could I? And he's like, you have to go. He's like, you
Oh,
absolutely have to go. Like, these are your people. You need to be there. And I was just like, really? And I'm like, so like, what should I do? I mean, I'd have to, he goes, and you know what? Like, make it longer and go to LA
my
and meet
God, what
all the
an amazing
people. So,
husband.
I mean, I owe him like big time, because like he goes away for 2 days. Before I went away, we are like, okay, you go away for a couple of nights just to like have some space and get
Right.
ready to be on your own with the kids. And I can barely function for those like 3 days. I'm like, hurry up, when are you coming home? And
Mm.
he did it for nearly 2 weeks, and he's so supportive, and I could not have done it without him. But like, I just didn't ever think really going and physically putting myself in that space with all of you, like US content creators and all of the Bravolebs and the Bravo adjacent people. I did not ever think that would be a reality. So for me, it was just like a dream come true.
You manifested it on Watch What Happens Live.
I did.
You really did.
I did. I got a little bit of Andy magic.
You did.
It's like,
we all need a little Andy magic in our lives.
We do.
Oh,
We
I love
do.
that. Well, I'm so glad you were there, and I'm really glad we got to meet while we were there. And I'm like honored that you asked me to be on The Curious Life.
Oh my God, I'm so thrilled to have you. And actually, I'm going to do a little rebrand. See, these are my pop therapy episodes, right? Which is like, I'm a therapist and
I know, I love
reality
that.
TV
It's
is my
smart.
therapy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? I think it's time to say goodbye to the curious life and just let's go head first into pop therapy.
It's a really good name. Pop therapy is a great name. I mean, it's got a good ring to it. So I'm
Thank
behind you
you
100% of the way.
Amazing. Maybe we'll rebrand from this episode.
Well, here we
How
go.
about that?
Well, then I'll also say thank you for having me on Pop Therapy.
Woohoo, you're welcome. Now, before you go, Kate, where can people find you? You've got a huge TikTok platform. You've got YouTube. You've got the podcast, Instagram. Send them there.
So if you're interested, I call myself a reality TV news anchor where I'm just reporting the news of what's going on in reality TV. So on TikTok, it's my first and last name, Kate Riccio, Riccio. On Instagram, it's Riccio Recaps. And then I did just come out with a podcast called The Reality of Reality, where we're talking about just that, the reality of being on reality TV. So
Love it.
check it out, but listen to every episode of Pop Therapy first and then go over to mine.
This is what it's about. Collaboration, lifting each other up. There is room for everybody at this table. And the more Bravo we can bring to people, the better.
We could start an army.
We really could. Totally. With you at the helm, because I'm loving what you're pitching. So let's get you up.
Yeah, I am. I think I'm more like, maybe I need to be the vice president, and then like Ryan Bailey can be the president, right? He can be like the face.
Totally.
And then, I'll just whisper in his ear, like, we have to bring back Winter House and stuff like that, you know?
Okay, done. I'll be the secretary, just like signing things off.
And if there's like a big speech to give, I feel like you're a good front facing. You've got a kind voice. You'd really calm down the nation.
Nice.
So it's in the works.
Bring something to the table. I like this.
Yeah.
I like this. We're gonna change the world one step at a time.
We've got it. Well, thank you again. It was like so nice to talk to you. Really, I really enjoyed it.
You too. I thank you so much for joining me. I can't wait for people to hear all of your thoughts and get behind everything you're already doing. And I absolutely love to have you back again one day soon.
You let me know.
Funny.